Welcome to the show, Kelley. We're so happy to have you here.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you. Okay. So the question that we always start with in the current iteration of the show is we just want to hear what is something that life is teaching you right now?
I've been doing a lot of scary things lately, a lot of
Mhm.
things outside of my comfort zone. And I'm being taught the past few months to have fun.
Mm.
And I think when you're doing things that are scary, you can only really do them if you're having fun. And so I set this intention. I can talk more about the backstory to this. Something tells me that it's going to come up later on. But I set this intention when I was about to do a bunch of scary things. And I said, well, what if I just had fun? And what if I just let it be fun? And so that carried me through this said scary things and has continued to be this guiding light for me of hold on, like things can just be fun.
Mm.
Mhm.
And that's also in my control, like way more than I probably have ever given myself credit for. So life slash myself is teaching me to have more fun.
Mm.
I love this answer. I think we take things so seriously that we forget that things can be fun, and that also sometimes we are like the creator of fun.
Mm.
But I have to ask, like, what are these scary things, and in what ways have you brought funness into them?
Yeah. So I went on a trip to Hawaii a few months ago, and I swear to you, the universe was trying to get me to Hawaii. And there was all these little weird synchronicities, and just it got me there. And I was there. And I was there for a kind of work surf retreat. And I, at the time, had surfed twice in my life. And now I'm here in the North Shore of Oahu, like surf capital. And I'm supposed to go out and go surf and go like cliff jumping and go do all these and scuba dive naked, and like all these opportunities were presenting itself. And I am such a chicken. And so when I had this first surf lesson, I was like, well, I was shitting my pants because I was just like, I'm so scared and I've never surfed here before. And I don't know what I'm doing. And what if I look stupid? And I had that thought of like, why am I taking this so seriously? Like, I'll probably not be good
Mhm.
and that'll be okay. Like, what if that's just okay? And so I said to myself, like, Cal, just have fun. Just have fun. See what could
Mm.
happen. Fall
Yeah.
off, have fun. It's scary, go back in. Like, it's fine. Just have fun. And so that's led me through a lot of things in the past few months.
Mm.
This is a bit of a side note, not necessarily the thing you're talking about, but surfing's fucking hard. Surfing is hard.
Really hard.
It's
It's
I've only done it once. I had a great time. I couldn't even sit on the board properly. It was like, that's how hard I found it, but it was fun. There was nothing so magical about sitting out there in the ocean, like watching the birds go. I yeah, so a bit of a thing, but to say that like, yeah, you're probably going to suck isn't too far off from the truth, because if you're not experienced, like, you can't take it too seriously.
yeah, and I've had a tendency most of my life to take myself very seriously. Ever since I was a kid, I mean, my parents have stories of me taking myself so seriously and not smiling and being professional. And you could chalk it up to my Capricorn stellium or whatever it is, but I take professionalism seriously. And so part of that was always dimming my fun and not letting things get too like out of control or too crazy. And so when I went on this trip and set this intention of just having fun, it was so freeing and so liberating and allowed me to unlock this door of me that I feel like was closed off for so long, while
Mm.
still honoring that I like to be professional and I like to, be the person that is buttoned up when they need to be, or feel like an expert in some things and not, flipping myself off too far in the other direction, but just finding my own sweet spot of
Mm.
fun.
I really love this point of like if you want to have fun, you have to stop taking yourself so seriously. This is something I've observed. I have a 5 and a 3-year-old, and like especially my 3-year-old's really good at this. Um, she just like she doesn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
like she's lost in thought and having fun because there's no friggin' rules. Like she's not trying to get anywhere. She's not trying to do anything, like accomplish anything. It's like so obvious, and also it's so easy to just forget in the like
Yeah.
kind of constant churn to achieve, right? It's like, okay, if I could achieve something, then I can get somewhere, and then if I can get somewhere, then I'll feel a certain kind of way. And it's like there is something so freeing about like, oh yeah, I'm gonna suck at this. That's the whole point. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also terrible at that, but poetically, it
hard.
sounds like a good idea.
I know it's totally easier said than done, but I think the more that you strengthen that muscle of like letting it be easy, letting it be fun, the easier and the more fun that it gets.
Yeah.
And kids are totally the best reminders of that. I'm like, I used to work with kids. And that's kind of how I got into what I do now, actually. But part of me really, really misses it, because there is this freedom and just like expression and not caring that kids so easily embody that is so admirable. And I think as adults, we're kind of always chasing that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about fun a little bit, because Kylie, I think you've mentioned before, have you said this, that you like struggle with having fun?
I do.
You do? Yeah. I think someone else said that to me recently too. Actually, Victoria, my friend, she was like, also like fun was hard for her. And I think I want to just touch in on that a little bit, because the different experiences. So I'm also a Capricorn. I also like professionalism. But I'm really good at having fun. I've never struggled with having fun. And that was probably having a lot to do with me being more like rebellious and like on drugs for a lot of my like 20s, but I'm okay with having fun. I'm kind of diverging in different places. So I want to talk about like access to fun, but I also just want to say, Kelley, something that you are like making me see right now is that sure, like being at a concert or with your friends in a park on the beach, we associate that with fun. But what I'm realizing is like fun can be brought into every aspect, meaning even like something I'm constantly struggling with is like when I write stuff for Instagram and I'm writing and creating, it's like I can take that so seriously and I forget that I am like not having a good time sometimes. I'm just like, oh, like people got to get this, like this has got to make sense. And there's just many different facets of that, like in my business, where I have to remember it gets to be fun if I allow it to.
Totally. I actually was just a guest speaker for something earlier today, and we were talking about this too. And I shared with them that, and now that I'm thinking about it, this intention of fun was set a long time ago. The seed was planted a long time ago when I decided to really listen to my intuition, which was asking me for more fun, but in more of a serious way. And it was like, hey, we're kind of done following rules and formulas, and it's time to come back to your voice. And as a self-trust coach, I've been doing this for a long time. And I like to think that my muscle is pretty strong of being able to listen to my intuition and trust myself. But there was definitely a block of, when it came to my business, especially, of I'm not fully falling on myself. I'm not truly trust falling on myself. And so at the end of last year, I said, like, I'm done. I'm done following the rules. I'm done following the formula. I am done having a business coach. I'm done being on Instagram. I'm done with this friendship. I'm done with anything that's not a hell yes, and anything that doesn't feel good. And so spoiler alert, what happened now that we're in June, so 6 months down the road, is that I've had by far the most successful year of my business.
Yeah.
And the biggest shift was that I trust fall in myself and I decided to have fun. And my life has never felt so fun, and my business has never felt so fun. And I say that to share that I think, like, contrary to popular belief, you can have a successful business and still so much fun in your life and your business.
Okay, I want to get back to this. I want to there's so much I want to say already.
Yeah.
I want to get to Eva's question that she dropped around like our relationship to fun. And I also want to respond to something you just said, which is, you are a self-trust coach, right? Like you already hold the space around how to fall into deeper trust with yourself. And also you are also being like reinitiated in that same lesson over and over again. And I feel like that, that's exactly my experience constantly, right? Is like whatever is the place from which I lead, it's also the thing that I am just like constantly being initiated through, constantly
Totally.
moving through. It's like, oh, this is your medicine. Okay, take your own medicine. Here you go.
Yeah.
So I just really resonate with that. I think also speaking to like this question around fun, I think I think I'm a funny, light person in a lot of ways. Like I laugh easily. Like
You're
I
such
think
a funny light person. Just want to affirm that. Like,
thank you.
you're fun. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm a big goofball, and also I think interestingly, I think the combo of children and entrepreneurship has created like I just don't give myself permission for fun. Right. Like I don't give myself permission for fun spaces, right? It's like I can have fun with my kids and I can have fun working, and also like I can sleep. This is like
Yeah.
I've mentioned this on the show a bunch of times. It's like definitely the place where I am like there, you know, there's definitely growth happening. Like today I brought my kids to the library and I just read my book the whole time and they did whatever the hell they did. I was only mildly paying attention. They were fine. So it's definitely a space that's evolving. But I think for me, something about these two areas that I feel required to tend to has meant that I just give myself less permission to like to be in the space without rules, to be in the space where like it doesn't fucking matter, right? To be in the space where, you know, there's no outcome that you're trying to get to. Even though with kids, you're not like, the outcome is just like, don't raise shitty humans.
Yeah.
Right. It's not,
Don't kill
it's not
them,
as
yeah.
tangible as like have a 10K month, but it's similarly like it's a space where I sometimes, they're both spaces where I put pressure on myself to perform in a certain kind of way. And that I think is the thing that like grinds out the fun. So I feel like the lesson for me is it has been about like making space for fun unrelated to those two areas, and also like continuing to just like release the expectation to perform, so that I can just show up. And then if I can just show up without the rules, without the expectations, without the pressure, then it does get to be fun. So that's kind of it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelley, do you have thoughts on that in terms of like, I think you referenced that you too at one point maybe had difficulty with fun?
Yeah, up until like a few months ago.
Because I can ask what that was about.
Yeah, part of me feels a lot of the time like I need an invitation to things. Like I really am someone who needs to feel invited to share like what's deep a lot of the time. Because if I'm like, oh, that person's not really listening, I'm not going to share. And I think the same thing goes for fun too. Like I kind of need like an invitation to have fun, or an invitation to let loose, or someone to be like, hey, it's okay, we're going to have fun now, or hey, I'll show you the way. And what you said is so beautiful around, I'm giving myself permission to infuse more fun. And the only people, there are fun people that we like to be around, but the only people who are going to let us have fun really and feel that is ourselves. And the person that we're spending the most time with is ourselves. And so we want to be around someone who's fun most of the time. And so the person that we're around the most is ourselves. And so I think that there are certainly times for like, I have an intention to have more fun. I'm going to go go dancing or whatever it is. But we can also inject the feeling that we get when we're dancing or we're on vacation or whatever it is into the smaller moments. Like, how can I make making breakfast be fun? Or how can I make writing this email be fun? And obviously it's fun because it's a little bit different than the norm. And so it's not going to be a constant, but if we have the intention of, okay, something that I'm really wanting is more fun, how can I infuse that into what I'm doing? And that goes for any feeling that we're desiring too. Like I want to feel more grounded. Okay, feel grounded when I'm traveling, or feel grounded when I'm in nature outside. How can I extract some of that juice and put it into like when I go to sleep, or when I'm, working on my computer at home?
Yeah.
We have so much more control over how we're feeling than we often give ourselves credit for. And I think that taking ownership of it is really empowering too.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. This idea of like we can infuse fun into everything, which is kind of what I was saying. Like that really hit me hard when you were talking about how like everything can be fun. But I also want to just make a what's the word? Make a differentiation in terms of like how I use language or how I perceive it. Is that I think to me, fun and joy are very different things. So I think
Yeah.
like there's a lot of joy in life. There's a lot of joy in business, but like fun is a really specific kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit underrated sometimes. Like fun is the best, I think. But also, yeah, I just want to, and it's in terms of this
Can you
conversation, I
give
have
us some
found,
context of like, I like this. I think I'm following you, but
yeah,
can you kind of paint out this picture a little more for us?
So the reason I can make that distinction is because I spent a lot of my 20s and maybe early 30s like seeking fun, but I wasn't like necessarily joyful. It was like,
Yeah.
that's like, and I saw for me, my challenge was like, oh, I just want fun all the time, like stimulation and like moving fast and things that were interesting. And then, but like the meaning oftentimes fell to the wayside, or like the more like just, yeah, when I was just like, Kylie knows about like my hot mess phase. So it was just like, almost not substantial, but it was a lot of fun. And I was imbalanced because I wasn't having joy. So like maybe I was having fun with these people who were like wild and crazy, and we were dancing, and like truly it was like a great fucking time. But also these people were not going to be like my lifelong friends, and I felt there was something missing. And then, so then I came back more into balance, and I'm like, now I understand what joy is. And I think joy is something much more substantial and meaningful. And it's this whole different thing. But at the same time, I think a lot of us think that we're experiencing joy, like raising kids is very joyful, but then we forget to have fun too, because we're like, oh, I'm so joyful, I'm so happy. But also you need to go out there and dance naked on the beach every once in a while, right? Like you need to just like let loose and be wild and like, I don't know, like laugh until your stomach hurts, until you think you're going to throw up. Like, so I think it's about finding that balance and not mistaking one for the other.
Ooh, oh my God, I love this so fucking much, because I think I also relate. I feel like my 20s was really fun. It was like me riding my bike around Cambridge, going to bars and like listening to music, right? Like, and being a grad student in coffee shops, like doing whatever the fuck you do when you're a grad student in coffee shops, not writing your papers. And I'm a huge nerd, so that's fun for me. Okay, so anyways, the point being, like, I think I feel like I had a tremendous amount of fun, and also I don't think I had a lot of access to embodiment, and therefore it was like lots of like quick hits, right? Rather than when you were talking about joy, that feels like to me like joy lives in my body, right? It's like this rooted sense of like safety and calm and connectedness and love, and I can have access to it anywhere at any time. And I feel like this most recent chapter of my life has been a like tremendous exploration of joy. And I love that we're having this conversation today, because I have felt like, okay, now it is exactly to your point, time to infuse both of these, right? What is fun, which is the like letting loose, there's no rules, like just be a goofball. How does that get, what kind of exquisite experience is that when it's paired with the like embodiment of joy?
Yeah.
I love that. And just even feeling into, as you're speaking, the difference that just the word joy and fun feel in your body. For me, they're very different. Fun does feel like that hit, and that like, ooh, spicy, and like a little naughty, and a little like fiery. And joy is like deep, and I feel it's like guttural.
Yeah. I love that. I love bringing it back to the body, because the body will tell you what's up.
Couldn't agree more.
So there's like a lot of things we can talk about, I'm sure, and I know that we're going to get there, but since you mentioned Hawaii, you kind of like referenced this change that's coming up for you before we even started recording. And Kylie and I were like really eager to ask you about it, and we decided to wait till we, actually started recording. So you mentioned that you're going to Hawaii, that you're for like an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I have always been really torn between New York and LA. I'm from New York. I live in LA now. I kind of left it up to the cosmos and applied to one grad school in New York and one grad school in LA after college, and got into only the one in LA. So I moved to LA, lived here for a bit, hated it, moved back to New York, was dating someone who was moving back to LA, moved back to LA. Like, I've just been on this roller coaster back and forth. And now, thankfully, I am at this point, and obviously I work for myself, so I do have the flexibility and the freedom to go back and forth more often. But I feel like I'm constantly chasing, like, I'm chasing a feeling, and I didn't really know what it was. And then I was saying earlier how the universe was like getting me to Hawaii, and it was crazy how it all happened. But I ended up there for this retreat thing with a friend of a friend, and I immediately felt it in my body. I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And maybe it's not forever, but something in me needs to be here for long. And I ended up extending my time, my trip there. And the longer that I was there, the more people that I met, and the more ingrained in the culture I became, and the more I fell in love with it. And almost immediately when I got home, I was like, I know that I'm going back to Hawaii. And I know that the only way that this is going to happen is if I make the decision to, and I trust it. And I trust this. This is just like an intuitive thing that I have, because on paper, I have a great apartment. I just leased a new car. I have my community here. I have my business here. But something in me is like, girl, you got to be in Hawaii. And so logistically, it's kind of a pain in the ass. But intuitively, it feels so right and so magical, and such a culmination of all this self-trust work that I've been doing. And even, like I said, throwing the rule book out the window, this vow and this promise I made to myself at the end of last year to be like, hey, are you really going to trust fall on yourself? And that means doing it not only about like, okay, I'm going to have like something not healthy for dinner when I probably should have something healthy for dinner, but it's also, hey, I know that I want to move to Hawaii and I want to be there for a long time, even though it's inconvenient. And I think that I've been doing so much of the having my own back in these smaller ways that it finally came to a point of like, okay, you're really going to have your back. Are you really going to follow this knowing and this ping from the universe and from inside of yourself, and follow your pleasure and follow your joy and follow your fun?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question, which I would want to ask anybody, but I'm especially eager to hear you because this is what you teach. But how do you know, right? You talked about like logistically it's a pain in the ass, but intuitively it feels like exactly right. And I can really resonate with that. And also, I think I would love to know, like, what is the experience of, what is the experience of your intuition unfolding for you, and therefore knowing like to hell with logistics, this is the thing we're doing.
Yeah. I'm glad that you asked this, because I think that some people think, okay, I don't have the connection to my intuition, or people talk about this like knowing, and I just feel anxious and like gurgly in my belly, and I don't know how to differentiate, and I don't know what to follow, and then I get stuck. And I've been there, and I had debilitating anxiety for most of my life. I was on Lexapro. I moved back home like my first year of college. I was in an anxiety spiral, and I did things out of fear. I was just scared, and I had no idea like what I really wanted, because I didn't even know myself, because I was in an anxiety cyclone. So there's hope for you if you feel like that too, or have ever felt like that. I you the story, which is that I have my bachelor's in psychology, and I have a master's in behavior, and I had both of these things and a certification in integrative health. And my habits sucked. I had an eating disorder. My relationship sucked. I hated myself. I exercised for punishment, and my relationship with me was practically non-existent and very judgmental. And I thought to myself, if I have the degrees in this and the certifications in this, in behavior and in psychology, and I can't figure my shit out, there's obviously more to it. So I have to find out what that is. And my whole life kind of blew up in my face. And the person that I thought I was going to marry dumped me seemingly out of the blue. And I had to like scramble and figure my shit out. And all of a sudden I was faced with everything that I never wanted to face. And I didn't feel like I had the tools to help myself. And I said to the universe, I need help. I need more, because obviously my education isn't cutting it. Help me. And I'm open to whatever that support is. And what fell into my lap was somatic work. And I started working with a somatic coach, and soma means body. So like we were talking earlier, how you feel joy in your body and you feel fun in your body, that's a somatic element. And so in doing my own somatic work, I realized, oh, this is the thing that was missing. My relationship with myself, my trust with myself, my acceptance and my love internally has been the obstacle here. Because I can try to change my habits and my behavior all day long, but if my relationship with myself isn't where it's meant to be, and if I don't trust myself, I'm going to constantly be coming back to this place of like dis-ease. And so that's the direction that my work then went into. And I got very involved in somatic work and got certifications in that too, to then bring that to my clients because I believe in it so deeply. So this is a long-winded way of saying,
It's
like
so
we said
perfect.
earlier.
Please don't like feel like
Yeah.
we love long-winded on Hello Universe.
I
It's our whole
figured.
brand.
I was like, well, we got time. Let's go. This is all to say that your body knows. Your body knows. Your body knows what it wants, and your mind oftentimes is driven by fear of what it is that your body's asking for. And again, this could be as small as you wake up in the morning and your body's like, I really don't want to drink coffee today. I need like a big old glass of water. And your mind is like, I love the routine of making coffee. Let's make coffee. Like, we're good. We got this. I don't want a headache. Like, let's just have the coffee. And this is a really small example of ways that our mind and our body end up being like enemies instead of allies. And so the more that we hear a ping in our body and we don't follow it, the more that it starts to be like, okay, is this true? Is this anxiety? Is this like, do I just not feel good? Is this based on a should that someone told me to do? And so it takes a lot of like clearing out the noise and coming back to yourself and following those tiny pings, the really small ones at first, like the water over the coffee, so that you are eventually able to feel in your body, okay, something is telling me I want to go to Hawaii. Is this real? Is this true? What is this? Is this fear? And I'm able to differentiate and then follow it from a place of trust. Did that answer your question?
Yes, I really, really love that you're pointing out like the glass of water and the coffee. First of all, like it all comes back to the body, which listeners know I'm on a kick about lately. So
On the same page.
And I also love that you're pointing out like it happens in the little decisions, right? It happens in the moment of hearing water over coffee, listening to and trusting yourself, not because of like some should, not because of some like pressure to get it right so that you don't get it wrong, but just because you hear yourself, you hear a request from the body, from the deeper self, and that the coffee versus water is actually the same thing as LA versus Hawaii. Like there's no actual distinction. It's just building up the trust in the small way so that when it feels quote unquote big, you're like, oh yeah, this is exactly the same as that time that I needed to go to bed early, or, you know,
totally,
whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And this is exactly how I realized this, is because alluding to these eating disorders that I had and these habits that didn't make me feel good was because I was following people on Instagram, or I was reading this or listening to a podcast, and everyone was like, you know, you have to meditate in the morning and drink your hot water with lemon, and you have to go on a walk for 25 minutes, and you have to do this and this and this and this. And I was like, okay, I'll do it all. And in doing it all, lost touch of what do I even want to be doing? How do I even want to feel? What actually brings me those feelings? And so it really does start with the small things of like, hey, what do I really want right now? What would feel so good? And allowing yourself to not only hear that, but to follow it and let yourself have it.
Yeah. Can
even,
I add? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just a real quick comment, which is even asking the question, right? Because I think some of us have like, I know that I think a lot of my 20s, I was out of the practice of like, what do I actually want, right? I was really wound up in like, what's the right answer? What's going to keep me from getting in trouble? What's going to cause what's going to cause problems and how do I avoid that? Which is a really different question of like, what in this exact moment do I want? And then maybe you don't hear an answer for a while because you're out of practice of even asking. And also there's something so, I mean, you are getting an answer, but it might take you a little while to like recognize what the answer is or whatnot. But I think even the question itself is just really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eva. Sorry.
The thing that I wanted to add was because your question was like, well, so how do you know? And I think we can like continue to like explore that even further. But I will say that I think just on a practical level, because Kylie and I, we like to take things into the practical and make them applicable.
Yeah.
Like it really is as simple as like something that I practice is I have to like close my eyes in the middle of doing something so that I can get into my body. So if someone's like, okay, well, I don't know how to do that. Like it literally is like you pause, you breathe, you close your eyes, and like you ask the question and you like feel into, it's not an intellectual thing. It's like sensational feeling thing. But the reason that I say that is because like, yeah, I think some people, if they just saw me in the middle of the street, they would think like something was wrong. Like I will literally just stop in the middle of the street and be like, wait, which way what's happening? Right. And I will just stop and close my eyes. And I think it's about like building that into like your everyday. And if sometimes it takes me longer, I will like be like, oh wait, no, I can't feel this. Let me sit down on my couch and then figure it out. And if I really can't figure it out, I go to my floor because I like laying down on the floor. I don't know what it is about being on the floor, but it's
grounding.
It's very grounding for me. So then I'll be like, okay, I'll ask the question again and just like stay with it and like see what comes up. So it's like, I think there's an intentionality to it that where you have to have space as well.
Totally.
Yeah. But can I also just say like, and Kylie has seen me do this. I also forget like, and I can, I forget it. Particularly, I think the higher stakes something feels or an area where I'm more sensitive or insecure about, the mind just is, I'm already in the mind and I forget that I am not in the body. And I think that's the trickiest part. The trickiest part is like not realizing that you're already on the fucking hamster wheel. And like, unless someone points it out, sometimes it's hard for you to get off.
Yeah. I have a practice that I love and love sharing because it targets exactly what we just said and your point as well, which is sometimes we're like so in it that it's hard to get out of it. And it's not too late, but it's like, oh God, I'm so deep in the spiral right now. And to make it accessible and to make it practical and doable, this practice that I love is when you're in bed in the morning and you just waken up and maybe your alarm just went off or maybe you woke up naturally, that's more my jam. That moment before you reach for your phone where you're still like cozy and snuggled, just to put a hand on your body anywhere that feels good and close your eyes. I think that's key. Asking yourself, what do I want? And then hearing what comes up from your body. Not from your mind, but from your body. So asking your body, that's why the hand on your body helps you ground into that. Not just asking, what do I want?
Yeah.
And again, it could be anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that you let yourself have it.
When that you trust that answer instead of being like, no, that doesn't make any sense, which is so often what happens.
Yeah. Without judgment. Yeah.
It's such a simple practice, what you just shared, but also I think it's profound because how often are any of us really being like that spaciousness of asking that question of like, what do I want? My only concern about that is, and this is just like such a silly practical thing, but like, I like the idea of doing it first thing in the morning, but I just have a feeling that if I did that, I'd fall right back asleep because I feel like it's hard. I guess, do you have any people who ever say like, it's hard for me to do that in bed? And like, do you suggest something else if that's the case? Because I feel like either I'd fall back asleep or
because that's the answer to the question that you want to go back.
I was going to say, sometimes the answer is like, I need 5 more minutes.
Your body's like, here, let me show you what I want.
Or no, it could just be like, I'm in such a warm, soupy place and I'm like, this feels so soothing. And then I fall back asleep because it feels so soothing. You know what I mean? Which could be okay as well. But I don't know. I feel like if that happened every day, it'd be problematic.
Yeah. I mean, the practice is more about tuning in and listening to what's coming up. And there will be days, I'm sure it's happened to me, I do this all the time, where the answer is, I need 5 more minutes of sleep. But the more that you do it, the more that you're able to kind of navigate it and push up against, touch the walls around it and figure out your own spice to it. But it is small and also profound because it lets you tune in to start your day with a relationship with yourself, act on your desires, strengthen your self-trust, prove to yourself that you're worthy of having desires and meeting them, knowing that you've got your own back, crowding out shoulds, what you should be doing, and rooting back to what's true to you. There's all these facets of it that really strengthen your relationship with yourself and your self-trust.
Yeah.
I've been trying to be more intentional about like going to bed and waking up, because I was like on my phone right until I would go to bed, and then I would reach my phone first thing in the morning, and I was like, none of this is even enjoyable. Like, why is this a habit that I've fallen into? And like, people quit smoking by picking up chewing gum, right? Like, I was like, I need to be, I would like to be intentional about, a chill routine at night and in the morning so that I can break this habit. And so my nighttime routine has been making a very specific kind of tea and drinking it. And I don't do it probably maybe like 5 times a week I do this. And then just like sitting in bed, sometimes with the lights out, maybe a candle on, like in the dark. And I kind of set an intention for sleep. And it's often, for me, it's often like I've been moving through some things. It's been like a big learning phase of my life these past 2 months. And so I've been setting an intention of release at night, right? Of just like, these are things I've observed in the day that like are old ways of being I don't need, or just whatever it is. And the intention is usually about like letting go. And then I've been waking up, and it's kind of to your point, although I'm going to add like putting my hand on my body and like being more in the body, but I have been like setting the intention of like, okay, and what are we creating today? What are we creating that this day unfolds? And not like really scripted, like, okay, I'm gonna have this happen and this happen, and then I'm gonna see a dog, and right. But more like kind of like bigger themes of what I am like emotionally creating for myself. And it's been really delicious. It's been so it's just been really, really gorgeous and super simple, and doesn't take like what you're describing is just like such a gorgeous way of being in intimate relationship with yourself that takes like 30 fucking seconds, that has the potential to really radically change your whole day, I love this. Yeah. Do you have like a morning or evening routine, Eva? We've never actually talked about this before.
I'm surprised that we haven't, because I feel like we talk about so much of the details of our lives. My routine changes a lot, and I think I've gotten really good at not being so dogmatic about it. I think for a period of my time, kind of like Kelley, like what you were saying, maybe like having all this structure. And so I like really take my time in the mornings. Like,
me too.
Like, like there's this like thing going on Instagram, some jokey thing that like, I just need like 8 hours in the morning just to like take my time and then I'll be good. And I feel like that's me. And I think honestly, this is like my favorite part of running my own business. Cause I remember when I was in New York and working, first of all, I was late every single day because I could never make it on time. And I just hated like the rush of like the morning. And also my job, I worked for a nonprofit in Brooklyn. So we didn't start till like 10. Anyway, and I was late every day, but I still hated it. And I was just like, I just wish I just had a life where I could like take my time in the morning specifically. And so I still think about that all the time. I don't like take it for granted. Like breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. I eat like a luxurious breakfast. I'll take my damn time. And I would usually listen to something. I'm really particular about my morning beverages, and I will generally probably meditate for a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, that's not very, this changes like all the time. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes I do like what I want to do. Actually, that is pretty common where I'm like, how do I feel? What do I want? And sometimes it's like, I want to go to the backyard and be with my garden. Sometimes I want to be with my plants. So there is very much this intuitive sense. And I try really like not to plan anything for the morning just because I'm like, And there was a period of time where I felt really selfish about that. Where Kylie, we've talked before, like, no matter what, it's wrong. Like when I didn't have the mornings, I was wrong. And then now I do have these mornings and I felt bad about creating all this time for myself. And like that's wrong too. And I've been thinking about that a lot recently, this idea of like, no matter what, some part of me is going to tell me that it's wrong. And so really the answer is like, there is no right or wrong. Like, I guess just do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Amen.
Yeah. I will say my nighttime is not so good. Like I watch a lot of TV with my partner and then I like can't fall asleep because I'm watching something exciting. So that's why I've talked about, I have this like Calm app that like reads bedtime stories to me before I fall asleep. And it is the best. I highly recommend it.
I used to do that too. Yeah. On
Yeah.
Headspace has that too. And I used to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's something really special that you mentioned, which is one, that you allow it to be intuitive, and through that, two, that you go through seasons and there's some flexibility with it. And I think that that's really important because as humans, and especially as women, we're meant to go through seasons and meant to kind of ebb and flow. And I think this is sometimes what can be problematic about the focus around habits, is there's this need to do something every single day and check the box, when that actually takes you away from what's true for you and what your body's asking for, and can actually weaken your self-trust. So I think that this, to expand on this, like putting a hand on your body and seeing what you need in that moment, can also be expanded into, well, what actually feels good in my morning. And it doesn't, you don't need an 8-hour morning routine. It can also be just in the time that you have. And I like a slow morning too. And sometimes that slow morning is like spent in my bed reading. Sometimes it's answering emails. Sometimes it's going for a walk. Sometimes it's, it could be so many different things. And I think that it took a long time for me to give myself permission to flow with it, instead of feeling like, okay, I have to do all the shoulds, and like I have to have this structured morning, and I have to get work done right away. And it feels so often I meet people and they're really craving a sense of balance and also freedom. And I think giving yourself parameters to play within gives you both of those things. So saying, like, okay, I want to start work by 10. What do I want to do in that time frame that would feel good, rather than just checking a box because I feel like I should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is like, so I'm just gonna like continue with this. I will also say that like I have noticed that I love the idea of actually just like putting my hand on my heart and checking in. There's something that feels really nice about like the tangibility of the hand on the heart. But I will say what's interesting to me is that sometimes I will also wake up and be like, oh, I just like I'm like in a creative flow and I just want to get up and like write and do work. And so that happens too. And I think, anyway, that's like an interesting thing to note, because I think a lot of people now are so anti-hustle culture that they feel shame about like wanting to work. And I just want to say, like, there is, again, just making this point that there's no right or wrong. And it's that like, it's just doing what the fuck you want to do without like judgment about it.
Well, that was the thing that I just like leaned over and took a note for myself, because I was reflecting on how much we are actually circling around this theme of permission, right? Like you spoke at the very beginning, Kelley, about giving yourself permission. Like, what if this got to be fun? What if it didn't matter if I was good at surfing or bad at surfing? And I'm actually probably going to be bad at it. And like this question of what do I want, and giving yourself permission to actually give it to yourself. And, Eva, you speaking about having a slow morning, but then really giving yourself permission to enjoy the slow morning, right? It's like having it, and then like, and I spoke about, giving myself permission to have space that's not being a productive mom or a productive business owner.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's interesting how much like really letting it be okay to fucking be who you want to be is like, the key.
I mean, it's a fucking revolution, because we live in a world that's going to tell you that you can't do that no matter what. Like going back to, again, it's always wrong no matter what, or there's like there's a right way to do it, essentially. Kelley, I want to ask more about you going to Hawaii. So that means, have you like, because I think what's like lovely about the stories, I think there's something inspirational about, I love a good like picking up all my shit and moving story. Like,
yeah, a good fuck it story.
I love a good fuck it story. And so like what is, I guess I'm kind of just curious what that means for you in terms of like, so are you like putting all your stuff in storage, or like how are you managing this?
These are great questions that don't know the answers to.
Mhm.
And I was just talking with a friend the other day about this, and she's going to Portugal for a while. And so I was kind of picking her brain and asking her what she was doing. And she's leaving in like a week. So she had the answers, but she was saying to me, she was like, the answers will unfold. Like, you'll figure it out. You were meant to be here. Clearly, you feel that's true. It'll figure itself out. And I'm totally, totally trusting that, and not making it this frantic thing where I've got to like figure out what I'm going to do with my car and my stuff and my lease and my surfboards, which I now own because now I've just embraced the surf life. But just being like, okay, I trust it, and I'm just going to keep following my intuition because it's got me this far, and I know that I've got me. So it doesn't really matter what ends up happening because I know I'll be okay. I know I'll figure it out. And it's so beautiful to have that peace of mind and to like take a moment, which I haven't until right now, to give myself some appreciation of how far I've come, to really say like, I've so got me in this, and I trust it.
I love that. I got me, that piece is, I think, really, really important. And it's not always easy to get there, as I think we all know.
And I also think sometimes
Yeah.
we think we have to put our faith in like, oh, the universe has me, or like the plan has me. And I think there's really fucking gorgeous about like, no, I have got, like, I am safe to bet on. I am the safe place. I am the captain, and I'm good at, and I have my own back.
Yeah.
I just think, I think that's something we tend to shy away from. And I really, really love that.
Yeah. I mean, the other piece about this that is, I think that's really like beautiful is, again, the whole like fuck it story. And it's, as you were talking, it reminded me a lot of what Kylie talks about, which is Kylie talks about Ragnarok, which is this idea of like chaos, fuck it, like I let everything burn to the ground, which I also love. And I think it's very much this idea of, yeah, I think we get so stuck in our stuff, like our bubbles. It's really easy. And I don't even think that we see that it's happening sometimes. And I think that's how, I know that I've definitely done it. I've been lucky enough to live a life where I have been very adventurous and gone and done a bunch of awesome things. And then I come back and I crave stability. And so then I'll get like really into this pocket of stability, which is also really nice. But then I get stuck in that a little bit too. So it's a constant for me. I don't know if there's like a right way to do it, but it does feel like a constant being like, just phases. I'm just constantly going through phases where then it's going to be like everything's up in the air and then everything's settled for a while and then I get bored with that and then everything's up in the air and then I get bored with that. I just wonder if I'm just going to be doing that basically my entire life, and I would like be okay with that.
Yeah. Again, I don't think that's wrong. I think that that's so normal and speaks to you being a growth-driven, awake person in this world who is changing and who is shifting and who wants different things and who is in tune with their desires and themselves. And so the more I find, the more changes we have in our lives, the more awake we are, the more fun we're probably having, the more growth we're probably experiencing, the deeper our relationships can be, the more relationships we have. And so could I stay here and like love my life? Yeah, I've created an amazing life here, but I know that there's part of me that's like, we're growing, sister. We've kind of outgrown this hermit shell. Are you ready for a new one? I don't know what it's gonna look like yet, but are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it could be a little naked for a little while, a little naked hermit crab until I find my shell.
I really like the reoccurring theme of being naked. This is like the 6th time it's gotten
I was
referenced
gonna
in the
say that
episode.
too. That's so funny. I was gonna say that earlier because I was gonna mention, isn't it funny how we connect fun and being naked?
I didn't put that connection
And
together,
here we're
but
talking about
that
being
is so
vulnerable and
true.
being naked because, like, yeah.
I just, because it's so true. I love, like, being naked is, I mean, depending on how some people, I think I can understand it might be difficult, but kids love being naked. Like when they come out of the
yeah, my
shower.
kids, literally, it's like the naked, they call it like naked baby time.
Yeah.
And even none of them are babies.
And I get it, because they're like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I wearing this? Like, they come out of the womb and they're so comfortable. And then you like put them in all these shoes and socks and they're like, what is this? And so I think that, like, deep down, we have this desire to like be naked all the time.
Totally.
And I do think being naked is like fun.
So fun, so freeing.
But also
I think
very
half the
vulnerable.
reason
Very vulnerable too.
can be so vulnerable. Yeah. I spent a lot of that time that I was in Hawaii naked. And I think that totally added to the fun. And being naked in sisterhood too, like with other women that were there, and us skinny dipping at night under the full moon and laying naked outside in the backyard, just letting like the sun hit us. There's something really fun about it. And there's something really like true about it and authentic about it, primal about it, pleasurable about it. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Yeah. Well, there's also something, I think nakedness is vulnerable. It's fun. It's also like what you're describing is also like you're burning down all the rules in that moment, right? Like you're not supposed to skinny dip, right? Like that's part of why it's fun, right? Is that you're like, well, my husband and I went to Miami a couple months ago, and I love the ocean. And there was one night we had a really late dinner. We went to the ocean. It was late at night. It was like kind of these big, really big waves. Anyway, I was like, I have to go in the water. And my husband is, he's not the risk taker in our relationship.
Yeah, he's also Capricorn.
he's very Capricorn. Like but he also, like, we've been together forever. He's like, yeah, okay. Like, so basically his job was like, I'll hold your clothes.
I'll keep a lookout.
And so I jumped in the water. Anyways, I forgot about that moment until just now, but it was deliciously fun. I don't remember why I'm even telling this story, other than maybe I want to have my own naked story. But it was breaking the rules. Like that was part of what was fun, right? Was that I was like, oh, like, is someone gonna catch me? Am I gonna get, like, no one gives a shit. But also like, but like that idea of, for all that we are afraid of doing it wrong, there's something that is actually really fun when we give ourselves permission to actually intentionally do the wrong thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
I hope we're inspiring everybody to go skinny dipping. I hope that's what they're taking away from this, is like skinny dipping, naked dancing,
and go have fun.
Yeah, lay under the moon. Did either of you watch the show Our Flag Means Death?
No.
Never even heard of it.
Oh my god.
Me either.
This might be my joy that I'm giving you now. It's this hilarious show. It's on HBO, and it's inspired by this actual historical character who is the gentleman pirate, where he like actually was like a gentleman who like ran away from his home and family and bought a pirate ship and became a pirate. And the show is like it's just this campy, ridiculous, over the top show. Everyone's queer. Everyone's just like, the show doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't happen in any actual real timeline. Like it's completely absurd and ridiculous. Anyway, there's this one character who is naked under the moon all the time and has a best friend, the seagull. I digress. It's a great show.
Noted.
Being naked under the moon is one of my favorite things in the whole world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just making me realize I'm just not doing it enough. Like, that's how I feel. Like I need more naked time, like naked outdoor time in my life. And this is just one of those things where I'm just like, what am I doing with my life?
That's my big takeaway here too.
Get naked. Yeah.
Outdoors.
Yeah. And this is still one of those things too, where we wait for an invitation, or we wait for the right time, or we wait for someone else to do it first. And who says you can't just go by in your backyard?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're fortunate enough to have one, and lay down naked in the moonlight, or freaking howl at the moon in the moonlight, or like lay out in the sun in your backyard, or time's passing you by regardless. You might as well get naked.
Yeah.
I really love this point. You mentioned this earlier about like waiting for an invitation. And yeah, I really relate to that, right? Like we want someone else to come along and say, like, it's okay to be fun now. Like it's okay to let loose. Like we, again, I think it's like the permission thing. Like we wait for someone else to give us permission. And what happens when we like really get to give ourselves permission to, I don't know, no invitation needed. Be the invitation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
empowering to know that so much is in your hands, that your joy, your pleasure, your passion, your creativity, your turn on, your trust, your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
here's a
you. And
question
I,
for you because we. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah,
So
yeah, hit me.
aside from nakedness, which we've all established, what actually are things that are fun for you? Because I think part of what I have witnessed, because it's been the last year that I've really been paying attention to, I'm really productive a lot of the time, and I'm like, and because when you're a mom, play is a kind of work, right? When your kids are little, play is a kind of work. Anyway, I've been really spending time kind of just asking myself the question, like, what what do I think is fun? What do I enjoy doing
Mhm.
actually? And like reinvestigating in that question. So yeah, what is fun? Like, what do you like doing for fun?
Yeah. I love this question. Kelley, I'm going to like let you answer that
Okay.
because I'm like curious to know what you want to say, but I just want to add first, Kylie, I think the question is important because I think a lot of people can get disconnected from what's fun,
Yeah.
or we like go into a
Yeah.
different phase and something that used to be fun isn't fun anymore.
Yes.
And you're like, I don't
Mhm.
know what I do or fun anymore. Like it's a worthwhile question to
Or
ask.
it's not available, right? Like I can't ride my bike around the city of
Yeah.
Cambridge and meet a friend at 10 o'clock at night. I can't
Yeah.
do that right now. So like what does fun look like, in this current chapter of my life? Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah. I think for me, whenever there's definitely a connection to my body here that's a theme. And so being able to like move my body and express my body, I think can be really fun. So I'm thinking of like dancing is so fun for me. And it's something that I would have never done in the past. Professional Capricorn Kelley would have never just danced sober and just had a good time with her girlfriends. Like that was so scary to me. And I had a belief that I was not the person who does that. And I was not the person who can let loose. And, that's reserved for them. And I sit over here and I like drink water. And I had this real identity of I'm the lame one. Like I'm lame. And I can't let loose now because everyone knows me as the person who doesn't do that and who doesn't dance, who doesn't feel free with their body. And so it took like an intentional death of that part of me, that belief, loving death, lots of love for it, but a shedding of it. And this rebirth of like, I'm fun. I'm so fun. I have so much fun. I am fun. I'm the life of the party. Like I am so just intuitive in how I express myself, and I don't hold things back out of inconvenience or perceived beliefs. And so I had to intentionally like let go of that identity. And I think that we often get caught up in ways that we identify as like I'm too much, or I am I don't drink, or I whatever it is, like we attach ourselves to it, and then it doesn't allow for wiggle room. And so I had this identity that I wasn't fun. And so once I shed that, it was so much easier to then feel into, okay, well, what is fun? What do I want to do? And maybe sometimes it is dancing and that feels so good. And maybe it's more fun to like everyone else is dancing and I'm sitting in the corner having a conversation with a friend and deeply connecting, and that feels fun. And so dancing is definitely a big one, and connection is definitely a big one. Getting naked is another one. Sex is another one.
Mm-hmm.
These are great.
Yeah.
This is a great list.
Surfing.
Surfing is really fun. I'm really, really into it lately. Surfing, this is how I got actually into surfing, because the first time that I did it, I hated it. And I said to myself, I'm done with this. I don't ever want to do this again, because I just kept getting knocked around, wasn't catching any waves. Then when I went to Hawaii, there was a moment that I caught a wave with a friend, and we were like cheering each other on and just riding it for so long. And I was like, that was it. That's the feeling that I'm always going to be chasing now. And that was so fun. And so, yeah, surfing and also being in community with it is so fun for me right now. I took a ceramics class recently, with a bunch of ladies who were much older than me, and they were a riot, and that was really fun.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah.
Kylie, I think your question, I have to say, I have noticed, like, I've had this conversation with myself because I think I'm in this phase of figuring it. I'm like in a transitional phase of figuring out what's fun for me. And I think the pandemic actually changed a lot of that, because I just think I had, I don't know, I just feel like I was doing more before the pandemic, and then I started doing less because for obvious reasons. And then I didn't go back to doing what I like used to be doing. And so I think this is a good reminder of like, yeah, there are a lot of fun things that I love that I'm not making time for. But I will say, like, agreed, dancing. And I've never, very, very thankful, never been afraid of dancing. Like, I will fucking cut up a rug anywhere I go, and it is like the best time ever. But something that I do.
Can we go dancing together?
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Even I have been talking about how we can meet up in person, and can we, wherever it happens, can it be somewhere we can go dancing?
It would be a dream fucking come true. But like, that's all I really want.
Great. Thanks.
We talk too much normally anyways. Let's just go dance and not talk.
Yeah, exactly. Kelley, you're more than welcome to join us.
We would love another
I'm coming.
partner.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm coming regardless.
Perfect.
Dancing is truly the best. And I feel bad. I don't mean this in like a condescending way. I feel bad for people who like my partner doesn't really like get into dancing. And I'm like, but like, you don't know what you're missing out on. Like, it is cathartic. And I get it though, because our society shames us for like needing to look a certain way, or like totally understand why. But anyway, but I will say, so I'm also into like choreographed dancing, like hip hop. And I started taking, this was a while back and I haven't done it in a while, but there's this awesome online class called Steezy, and you can just do I cannot tell you like the technology now for teaching dance classes online. Like, they have all these cool things where you can all these cool features that make it really easy for you to like learn how to dance. And so it's really cool. And I will tell you, the first time when I started doing it, I was like having a great time, and I wasn't looking at myself in the mirror. And then I like did the dance in front of the mirror thinking that I looked like Beyonce, realizing I didn't look like Beyonce. And I was like, oh my God, this is awful. And then like cut myself off from doing it for a while. And then now I'm just like, fuck that. I just don't look in the mirror. Just like move my body and have fun. But like, I will say, like walking around is really fun for me. And like walking around in a city, like just with like my headphones on and like people watching and being like, hey, sometimes I'll play like the red light, green light game. Like, I'll just go wherever the light says I need to go. So if it's a red light, I will turn here. And if it's green, I'll go and just like literally wander around. Like, that to me is like really fun. And I think, oh yeah, this is silly. Game nights. Like, I love having game nights with my friends and like, we go all out and like get really into the games, and some people get like really competitive, and we have great food and beer, and it's just like wholesome fun, you know.
Food is so fun.
Food is really fun.
I'm a big restaurant person. I love going out to eat. I find that so fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, people watching, people are so interesting. That is totally fun.
Yeah. I think like getting dressed up is fun. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's different flavors of fun. I'm trying to think. Like, I really love this question, because I think it's also like, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be more answers out there, because I feel like a lot of things are like really fun. I'm just like not thinking about them right now, but I want to like open up the conversation. I wish like our podcast,
I want to hear from listeners.
like,
what do you do for fun?
Yeah.
Or what's something fun that you miss, right? Because I think that also might be an answer. I think dressing up is really fun. And that was a decision I made like last August, was I was just like, I'm done between like small children, pregnancy, and this pandemic. I am over my sad leggings. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. And I was just like, I'm going to be over the top, even if it's just fucking me taking my kids to the library. Like, I'm doing a smoky eye. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and we're going to Dunkin' Donuts. Everybody get on board. And it's it's ebbed and flowed, but like I have gone out like kind of completely ridiculously overdressed for like a Wednesday morning where I'm just hanging out with my kids. And it's been really, really fun. There were like a couple moments in the beginning where I would be like self-conscious, and I got over it so fast. And now just feel like, I can also go out in leggings and a cozy t-shirt, but I have all these really beautiful dresses that are like, $300 dresses that I never fucking wear because it's like they're like, they're not right or whatever. And now I'm like, yeah, no one cares. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And that has just felt really, that has felt really, really fun. Reading for me
I
is,
think
go ahead.
Me too, reading. But I was gonna say, I think younger me needed "nobody gives a shit" like tattooed on her forehead, because the amount of time that got me away from fun is so sad to look back on, because that's really what it came down to. And I think it comes down to that a lot, which is, how am I going to be perceived? What are people going to think? Ugh,
Yeah.
my God, did that hold me back?
Yes. Nobody actually gives a shit.
And if they do, because they might, honestly, if they do, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Then they're not your people. Fuck them.
Yeah.
And usually that says a lot more about them than it does about you.
Yeah. There was this.
Oh, good. Sorry.
There was this one day that stands out to me on the topic of fun, and it was when I was in probably the lowest low I've ever been in my life, and I had just gone through this breakup, the kind of breakup where I thought I was gonna die, and I was so not okay, and I had no idea how to be alone, and I had never really been forced to before, and I felt low. And I said to myself, I'm just gonna have myself a day. Like, I gotta get out of the house. I'm gonna just do whatever I want today. And I went to Hermosa Beach, and I parked the car, and I got out, and I was like, okay, Kel, well, it's just you and you. What do you want to do? And I remember I got like a delicious overpriced smoothie. I went shopping and bought a dress for no reason. I went to the beach and like read a book, and then left the beach, realized no, I want to still be at the beach, parked down the road, went back to the beach, laid there, watched people like surfing and hanging out, left, got ice cream, listened to a sick podcast, went home and had like a drink. I think I made myself a glass of wine or something, and then went to sleep. And it was such a turning point for me. And I feel like I'll always remember this day. And I took a lot of pictures that day too, which I'm glad about, because they'll pop up and remind me, because it made me realize that I can have fun by myself. And I didn't ever think that was possible before. Like, I didn't even have a relationship with myself where I thought that I could have such a loving and fun and enjoyable day on my own. I thought that required other people, or it required like drinking, or it required a dance, like a club or something. But for me to just have this totally intuitive, desire-led day that was just me and me, and it was so fun, it was really shifted a lot in my life, and especially with my relationship with myself.
I mean, honestly, I love that answer, because like, I think both Kylie and I would both say like that would be an ideal day for us too. Like, going to the beach, reading something, eating some good food, like that's fun. And I think the point is like, it doesn't have to be complicated either. It's like, yeah, Kylie, I mean, you're such a busy, you've got 2 kids. I bet if you had like a day to yourself where you could just have a me day, a Kylie day, like that, whatever it is that you did, like just being in a bookstore, going to a coffee shop, that would be so much fun.
I was cracking up because my childhood best friend, she lives down the street, but she's an administrator for school, and like our lives are really busy. In the past 6 months, especially, we haven't really had a chance to hang out. And so we were really excited because Sunday we had like both blocked off, and I was like, I don't care what we do, I just want to hang out with you. Then I was like, but let's do something fun. Let's do something different that I like don't normally do. And then we ended up like basically going to a restaurant in this shopping plaza that I go to every single week with my daughter while I wait for my son to get out of school. And then we like went to another shopping plaza that I also go to all the time. And it was at the end of the day that I just started cracking up, because I was like, this was so much fun. It was everything that I wanted. My cup is so full. And also I had this story that like, oh, I have to go do something different for it to be fun. And we still
Mhm.
ended up actually doing the exact same shit because like the suburbs are fucking boring. Like the suburbs are the suburbs, right? Like there's only 3 options. But I just thought it was a really funny example of like, sure, it can be fun to do something that's like, oh, this is so different and outside the norm. And also it was actually just super fun because I was with this person that I really, really love. And it didn't matter that it was completely irrelevant that we were essentially doing the same things that I always do.
Yeah, I love that. And Kelley, in your example, you're with someone who you loved at that moment too. Maybe you were figuring it out, that love, but it was like you just enjoyed yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But can I say though, so like I'm hearing both answers. Well, okay, I hear that answer about like it can be simple, and I totally agree. And I think that's really helpful so that we don't overcomplicate it. But I also think fun is like, going back to what you said earlier at the top, Kelley, was like doing something that's scary. And I think that's like, I was thinking in my mind of like other things that are fun. And like I went camping by myself for the first time last year, where I just like was in the woods by myself. I don't know, it was a little scary, and it was also really fucking fun. And I think there are moments where you can push boundaries and get out of your comfort zone, and sign up for like an intensive surfing course when you've only been twice in your life. And there's that fine line, I think, between scary or like challenging and fun. And it's good to put ourselves in that position every once in a while too, so that we don't, get stuck in the rut. Essentially.
Have Liz and I talk about this as the hard hike? Have we talked about that on this on the show before? Okay, Kelley, Liz is there's 2 people that I do projects with, Eva and Liz. And we talk about it as a hard hike, which is like when you go hiking, you want it to be a certain level of hard. Like it's actually like it's actually fun that there is like she would like told some story of like she lives in Alaska, so and she loves to hike. So her hard hikes are much harder than mine. But like she's like, yeah, like there was one time that like I had to take my boots off because there was a stream and I had to cross the stream, and like that was a hard hike, and it was like that was part of the fun, was like this kind of like somewhat ridiculous situation of like, how am I going to get across this river? And I think that's a helpful reminder that it's not actually that fun if it's just like me on this smooth, flat stroll with no ups and downs or challenges, or like there's nothing scary or unsettling here. That's actually really boring. And that fun is in the challenge. It's just the calibration of like, is it hard hike, or is it like, well, now I'm scared and lost and in the wilderness? Because that's no longer a hard hike. That's like the show alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I do have to say though, I'm like pretty jazzed. Like this conversation is, I think, coming at a good time and reminding me of like the importance of fun and getting out of your comfort zone and all those things. So thank you, Kelley.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't ask that you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
What's like, is there anything that's like alive for you in the moment that you're feeling really jazzed about?
I feel like this is the biggest thing that's been on my heart and on my mind lately is those 2 things, is getting out of your comfort zone and having fun, and how your relationship with yourself is tied into all of those things and everything. Yeah, I mean, it's also, I think there's something to be said about the full spectrum of like being a human and being awake in this world, whereas yes, fun is on one side of the spectrum, but we're also able to recognize fun because we haven't had fun. Or when things are so exciting, it also means that sometimes things are gonna not feel good. And so when there's these intuitive led, maybe scary things, or these moments of trusting ourselves that feel a little bit, there's some trepidation, I think if we're able, and I'm saying this because it's a practice that I'm working on myself, is when we're able to hold both and like hold the excitement and hold the fear, and not need to get rid of the fear or bypass the fear or suppress it, but say like, hey, I'm scared and I'm also having fun, or I am nervous and I'm also excited. Like both can coexist. And I think the practice of like expanding our capacity to hold both is really a way of also having our own back and knowing that we can do hard things and like go through hard things and come out the other side being like, I've got me, like I just did that and I'm able to hold it all. And so I always want to be clear about like both can be true, and we have the ability to experience so many different parts and so many different feelings and so many different emotions. And again, going back to permission, the more that we can give ourselves and each other permission to be also scared and also excited and also anxious and also happy, and all of it can coexist. I think that it allows for a more beautiful and whole and connected experience. And so I would be lying if I said that part of me wasn't really fucking scared to go. Like, yes, it's intuitive, and I know that I've got me, but there's also fear. And sometimes just yesterday, it was feeling really heavy. It was feeling heavy, and it was feeling a little bit like I was kind of sinking into it. Like there was a lot on me, and I kind of got into a weird spiral around it and didn't make myself wrong for it, and just recognized it and felt it. And today I'm feeling really lit up and really ignited by it. And there will be waves of both.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just life. It's not about just the joy and just the fun. It's also about like being real and feeling all the feelings.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I'm so glad that you pointed to that, right? Because I think it's so easy to just get that Instagrammable, like perfect, like I'm moving to Hawaii and I'm living my best life and I'm being so courageous. And yeah, I think it's really real and important to acknowledge that it's gonna be the whole spectrum. That's just like much more realistic.
And if a key to actually having fun is giving yourself permission, then giving yourself permission to feel the fucking feelings is how you get to have fun, right? Like being, if you fought and resisted your fear, it would probably still be here today, right? The reason you are lighter, I suspect, at least this is what I always experience, is because I like witnessed and welcomed this shitty spiral.
Yeah.
Right. And then it gets to like continue evolving instead of just staying like stuck in the place of fear, because of the permission and the allowing. And so I think there's something really, I just keep coming back to this place again and again and again lately. It's like, oh, do you want to feel free? Like, lean into being afraid. Do you want to have fun? Like, lean into where you feel like you're caught and tangled and repressed, right? Like, go to the places where you think it doesn't exist and like don't push them away, and then watch it. I don't know. For me, that's where it like shifts and evolves. So I really love what you're pointing out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Woo. All right.
Should we do a round of joy?
Let's do it.
You want to go first, Kelley? Tell us something that's bringing you joy right now.
The first thing that came up for me is what's bringing me joy is the books that I've been reading lately. And I know that this is kind of a surface level answer, but I've been so into reading lately, and it's such a time of peace for me. And there's like pride to it. I'm proud of myself for doing something that makes me feel so good. And it's not something that's led by like, oh, I should read a book. It's like, I love reading, and I've totally been embracing it and reading a whole bunch of amazing books that make me feel things. They make me cry and make me laugh. And I've been absolutely loving this season of being all about reading. It's bringing me a lot of joy.
Oh,
I love that. Yeah. You're in good company. Kylie's, that she shared that same joy. And yeah, there's no superficial answer to this. It's really, it could be anything like, we've talked about pooping. So, we're, yeah.
Pretty joyous.
Yeah.
I loaded Birdie up with raisins today because she has not pooped in 3 days.
Oh, no.
No one really needs to know that.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
I bet she will feel more joyous tomorrow. That's
hopefully.
my suspicion.
Okay.
Eva, how are you?
What's been bringing me joy? Well, I've been going through kind of a hard patch recently, which I will probably maybe talk about at some point once I like figure my shit out. But And in the midst of all of that, there's still been joy. And I think I'll share 2 things, because 2 things are coming up, 2 like little things that like bring me joy in life. One is coffee. And I say that as a person who doesn't drink coffee. I cut out coffee years ago, and I've been needing to drink it more recently because I've been having to wake up really early. It's fucking insane. Coffee is gotta be a drug of some sort. Cause I feel so like it's kind of a miracle. Like when I drink coffee, all of a sudden I can like do so much more work, and no wonder people drink coffee. I'm like, oh my God, this feels good. It feels a little bit like a very timid hit of cocaine, but it's legal. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to roll with this. And so that's been kind of fun. But I will also say the other thing that's been bringing me joy is as a big pop culture fan, I highly recommend the show I Love That For You. Have you guys heard of it? Okay, well, add it to your list. It is hilarious. It's my new favorite show, and it's just like a little sitcom. It's from 2 of the women who are in SNL, and it's like the whole premise is that they work for a company kind of like QVC, and I don't know, it's so well done. And so I just love it when women are writing really funny, quirky, smart comedies, and they're so idiosyncratic, and it definitely brings me joy. So if anyone's looking for a new show, it's on Hulu, I think. Yeah. Cool.
That's great.
All right. What about you, Kylie? What's bringing you joy?
Okay, so I have a joy that also was fun. So it's just very like thematic, which is that I recently went to a concert, like a real concert, like a big concert at a stadium. I didn't talk about this on the show yet, did I? Okay. So I went to go see Halsey, who so fantastic, really great performer. I bought tickets to go with a good friend of mine, actually Vanessa Love, who's been on the podcast before, and she got COVID. And she was like cleared and better in time to go. And we met, it was like halfway between us. We got in a hotel and we met, and we went out to dinner. And by the time we were done with dinner, she was like, I can't, like my body is screaming at me that like I don't have like I'm not contagious. And also like, I've like, I can't actually go anywhere. I need to,
no,
like,
I just feel so awful that she couldn't attend.
And so she was like at peace with it, because she just like like your body, like, she just knew like it's not like it would not be fun for me to be around all these like screaming people, right? And so I was like, and this is also the beauty of not being like 24, right? Is that I was like, great, you know exactly what you need, and also like I have no sense that I need to like not go to the show because you're not going to go, right? I was like, great, will you drop me off, you know? And so I ended up going by myself, which was its own like incredibly amazing experience, because when you're at a concert that's like a big concert where everyone's really excited and you're by yourself, like nothing fucking matters, right? So I was like crying and screaming and dancing. I was like insane, because like I don't fucking know these people. Right?
I love it.
I love that too.
It was so great. It was so ridiculous. It was like, it was so liberating. And like, I could just feel like, I think I actually just screamed at one point. Right? It was great. It was really, really great. And then when it was done, I was like doing this thing of like, oh, that was amazing. I'm just luxuriating in the energy. Like, I don't need to like hustle out of here. But then of course, trying to get a ride back to the hotel was like, took 8,000 years. And so I'm like standing in the parking lot where that's like the Uber Lyft section. And I was like, okay, well, I am a woman by myself. Maybe I should like join a herd of people so that like we can wait together. And I ended up basically getting adopted by these 20 somethings.
Oh my God, yes. I was hoping that was gonna happen.
Funny. They literally started calling me mom at one point.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
And the reasons they were calling me mom, like, it was so funny. At one point, they were like, okay, well, let's all just walk to the McDonald's. It's like a half a mile away. And then we can eat French fries while we wait for a lift. And I was like, well, that sounds like a great idea. And everyone was like getting ready to go. And then I was like, has anybody made sure that the McDonald's is open because it's midnight? And everyone was like, you are a mom.
They were like, you're so smart.
Like, this is what happens when you're 22, right? You just fucking trek across town and like, you know, go to the closed McDonald's. So anyways, it was, the whole thing was hilarious. There was another point where like one of them, like we needed to ask, they like, we had an extra person and they were like, the girl was like, okay, I've got the lift, but when he gets here, you have to pretend to be me and then convince him to let the one aware person in the car. And she was like so nervous about it. She's like, you have to pretend to be me. I was like, this is
Yep.
gonna be fine.
Yeah, you're like,
Like, we're good. Anyway, it was just very amusing, and it made me really love 23-year-old Kylie, because I could see her through the lens of these ridiculous humans.
yeah.
And then at the very end, we were like, we finally got a car. I mean, it actually took like an hour to get a car. And we were someone's asked some question of like, because they also all didn't know each other. That was the other thing that was funny. It was like this like herd of random. Anyway, one of them was like, who were saying like, what's the coolest thing about you? And I was like, I don't know, what is? And I was like, oh, I'm a professional witch. And they were all like, she's not just a mom, she's fucking cool. And that was like my mic drop, because then the like lift like dropped everybody off. And I was just like, I can't wait for them to be like, remember that woman who bought us Cheetos and is a witch?
You made their night.
Yeah. And they made mine. It was really, it was great. And if anyone has an opportunity to go see Halsey live, highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'm sure that was like a great concert to be at, like by
Great fucking
yourself. That
show.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I
that
know that
sounds
was
like
a
fun.
long share, but I just was so amused by the whole.
I absorbed the joy and the fun in that through you talking about
Me
it.
too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kelley, how can people find you, follow along,
And work with you and all
work
that.
with you? Yeah.
The best way to connect and to inquire is through my website. So it's root2risehealth.com. You can send me an email there. You can see the goings on there. It's all there.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking to you guys. This was so special.
Yay. And we're out. Kelley, that was fucking amazing.